Welcome, fellow denizens of the dark. This is Lance, your host of Strange Bites, where we sink our teeth into wonderfully weird and wild science discoveries. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. If you enjoy the show, please hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app, leave a quick review, and follow us on social media. Your support truly makes a difference. Now let's dive into today's bite. Deep in southern Africa, where the Kalambo River crashes over a massive waterfall on the border of Zambia and Tanzania, the ground has been keeping a secret for an almost unimaginable amount of time. This is episode 27, The Ancient Logs of Kalambo Falls. For hundreds of thousands of years, layers of wet sand, silt, and mud along the riverbank acted like nature's own time capsule. No air could get in. Bacteria and rot could not touch what was buried there. It was the perfect hiding place. In 2019, archaeologists led by Professor Larry Barham from the University of Liverpool were digging carefully into those muddy banks as part of a project called Deep Roots of Humanity. They weren't expecting anything dramatic at first, but then dark shapes started to emerge in the wet earth. Two huge waterlogged wooden logs. They looked almost fresh, like someone had dropped them there recently, but they were anything but recent. As the team gently brushed away the dirt, they noticed something that made them pause. One long log had a deep U-shaped groove carefully carved right across it. It wasn't random damage from the river or animals. Someone had deliberately shaped it with stone tools, scraping and cutting with purpose. The second thick log fit snugly right through that groove, locking the two pieces together at an angle. It was like an ancient version of giant Lincoln logs, or a simple but clever joint, the kind you might use to build a stable platform or a base of a walkway. This wasn't just a couple of sticks. It was the oldest known evidence of people, or our ancient relatives, actually building something structural out of wood, joining big pieces together on purpose. Nearby, in the same layers, the team found more wooden clues. A digging stick for rooting around in the ground, a wedge for splitting things, a cut log, and another notched piece. It was like stumbling across an ancient toolkit. Wood almost never survives this long. It usually rots away completely. The only reason these logs were still here was the special environment, constantly wet with almost no oxygen. The earth had basically pickled them for 500,000 years. To figure out exactly how old they were, the scientists didn't rely on regular carbon dating, which only works for much younger things. Instead, they used a method called luminescence dating. They took samples of the sand and dirt right around the logs. Tiny grains in that dirt had been sleeping underground, soaking up natural radiation from the environment. By carefully waking those grains up with light in the lab and measuring the energy they stored, the team could read the clock in the dirt. The result? The logs had been buried for at least 476,000 years, plus or minus about 23,000 years. That's way before modern humans like us existed. Back then, the builders were our more ancient cousins, sturdy, clever hominins, probably something like Homo heidelbergensis. They lived in Africa and other places, made big teardrop-shaped stone hand axes, part of what archaeologists called the Acheulean culture, and were clearly skilled at working with stone and wood. The structure itself was only partially preserved, just these two joined logs. So we don't know the full picture. Was it the foundation for a raised platform near the water? Part of a walkway? The base of a simple shelter? We can't say for sure. But the deliberate notch in the way the logs fit together show planning, skill, and the ability to work with large materials. These weren't simple cavemen. They were problem solvers and builders. This discovery, published in the journal Nature in September 2023, has no real parallels from that far back in time. It flips the old script that complex woodworking and building only came much later with us. This find reaches across nearly 500,000 years and quietly asks us some big questions about who we are and where we came from. It reminds us that intelligence, creativity, and the drive to shape the world around us didn't suddenly switch on when Homo sapiens appeared. Long before modern humans, other minds were already observing, planning, choosing the right trees, carving with intention, and figuring out how to join these things together for a purpose. The story of human-like cleverness is much older and deeper than we used to think. It's not a straight ladder of progress from primitive to advanced. It's more like a wide, ancient river with many branches. Our ancestors and their close relatives were already swimming in those waters. Wood was probably used far more often than stone for tools and structures, but almost all of it disappeared. This one miraculous preservation window shows us a glimpse of richer, woodier technological world that mostly vanished. It makes us wonder, what other skills, knowledge, or even simple daily comforts did early hominins have that will never recover because the evidence simply didn't last? Discoveries like this could shift how we think about evolution, technology, and even ourselves. As we keep exploring, whether digging in African riverbanks or studying ancient DNA, or one day looking for signs of intelligence on other worlds, we might find that clever building and cooperation appear earlier and in more places than we expect. It could change how we define human or advanced. It might even inspire us today, a reminder that working with natural materials like wood in smart, simple ways has deep roots, and that sustainability and ingenuity aren't brand new ideas. It invites a sense of wonder and connection. These logs waited patiently in the dark, wet earth for 500,000 years to be found. They're a message from minds that lived in a very different world, yet they reached out across time with evidence of care, skill, and purpose. In a universe that's mostly silent and vast, that's a profound thing. It suggests that the spark of making, building, and leaving something behind is older and more widespread than any one species. What other quiet messages might still be sleeping in the ground or in the stars, waiting for curious minds to listen? The past isn't as far away as it feels. Sometimes it's just a few feet of mud and a lot of patience away. That's it for today's bite. I really appreciate you listening. If ancient mysteries like this one spark your curiosity, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more real discoveries told with wonder. What do you think these ancient builders were trying to create by that waterfall? Drop your thoughts in the comments or wherever you listen. Until next time, stay strange and question everything.